All right, today we're going to talk about absolute value and then adding real numbers. So a quick reminder, absolute value is a distance a number is from zero. Since we're talking about distance, it will always be positive. We use these brackets, just straight line brackets, to represent absolute value. And then it's helpful to think about a number line when you are referencing absolute value. So just some a few easy examples. The absolute value of 15 means how many units is 15 from 0? Well, that's 15 units. How about how many units or the distance from negative 20 to 0? So that would be positive 20. Distance can never be negative. We might have some algebraic equation. So the absolute value of 10 minus 3, you can simplify the inside. That becomes the absolute value of 7, which is 7. Okay, we have the opposite of the absolute value of 11 minus 2. Again, simplify the inside first, so that 11 minus 2 gives you 9. The absolute value of 9 is positive 9, but then we have to multiply. That's a negative 1 out in front. So this solution is negative 9. I'd like you guys, just kidding, we're going to do this one together. The opposite of the absolute value of 7 minus 8. Okay, 7 minus 8 gives us negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is positive 1, but then we have to multiply by that negative 1 that's out in front. So we get a negative 1. This is the one I would like you guys to find on your own, please. And lastly, we're going to talk about adding positive and negative numbers. So we have three basic rules. If you have two positive numbers, when you add them, your answer will always be positive. Here's a few examples. If you have two negative numbers and you add them together, your answer will always be negative. So there's a couple examples as well. Just keep in mind that adding a negative is the same as just plain subtraction. So I wouldn't have to have that plus. Negative 3 minus 5 is the same as negative 3 plus negative 5. Likewise, negative 11 plus negative 2 is the same as negative 11 minus 2. So keep that in mind. The last one is if I take one positive and one negative and add them together, it's going to, my answer, I can't always say it's going to be positive or always going to be negative. It's going to depend on what my numbers are and which is larger. So if we look here, 10 plus negative 6, my positive number is larger, so my answer will be positive. Again, negative 20 plus 50, my positive number is larger, so my answer will be positive. Here we have 4 plus negative 4. They have the same absolute value, so that answer is 0. So just make sure you pay attention to your signs and make sure you have the proper sign in front of your solution. And then also, don't be afraid to use a calculator.